We have Paul Gray, yay, on. Hi, Paul.
Hi, thanks for having me, Catherine. Good to see you.
Always a joy. And we've been we keep in touch anyway, just because we're buds. But I know you've been working on some new projects. Paul has this fabulous Grace to All podcast, of which I've been honored to be on. But you have a brand new project out. So tell us a little bit what's going on in Paul's world with your project, what's on your heart. You always have got so much great stuff to share.
Oh, thank you so much for asking and giving me the opportunity. Yeah, I when I started the podcast a little over 3 years ago, and you were one of the first people that I interviewed, and we've done more since then. I thought I liked podcasts and I liked hearing other ones. One of the first ones I heard was Brother Henry, who's a friend of both of us. And I thought, well, gosh, it'd be fun to do that. I've got somewhat of a similar message. I wonder if I can do it. And so other than just, wanting to share the message that I had and connect, help people hear some other people like you, that was kind of as far as my vision went. But as you well know, Catherine, the Lord is continually doing a new thing, and he knows the end from the beginning. And so we're at the point now where we're doing something that kind of multifaceted, and who knows what will happen next. But I decided about a year or so ago to write a book with a couple of pages in it about most of the people that I've interviewed. And I've interviewed 90 some people, some more than once, and half of my podcast are solo casts. So I thought, well, I'll write a book with a 2-page.
You make me look like a lightweight, Paul. Them. I'm just saying. Like, bam, wow, there's Paul again. It's awesome. Sorry, keep going.
Well, thanks. Thanks. Well, but yeah, I thought I'll write a couple of pages about each person, tell a little bit about their story and what they're excited about. And then I'll give the information of how to contact them and how to get their products, like your book, Marked by Love, and your course, and then your group, all of those things. And so, because I'm aware that people might be much more interested in talking to a pretty lady who's an MD who writes great books than an old man who used to play trumpet and whatever.
But people are,
yeah. Well, I'm being self-deprecating there, which I need to work on not doing that. But I just know that some people are going to be more attracted to listening to you and connect with you than they are with me or with Keith Giles,
and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's why we all need one another.
Oh man, is it ever? Yeah. So I thought, well, this will be a good way to connect people. We all have a very similar message about God's grace and unconditional love for all people. We all have slightly different takes on that, and we're okay with that. And so we're certainly not a denomination or anything like that. And I thought, well, this would be a good way to connect people. And then it's kind of which it is, and it will be, and I'm really happy to do that. One of the people that I've interviewed and enjoyed listening to them also has a ministry in helping single moms, and every time he does a podcast or a message or something, he tells a story about a single mom that he's helped.
Oh, man, it's great. What a heart.
Yeah, it's been so good. Yeah, it's been so good to listen to those. And my daughter is a single mom. Her husband died of, you'll know what this is, Ewing sarcoma when he was 29.
Oh, I didn't know that, Paul. Wow.
Yeah, she was 30. He was 29. They had just adopted their little boy who's 3 years old. Was 3 years old. He's 16 now. And it was a very painful year-long
ordeal.
I don't even know how to describe it. Ordeal, yeah.
It's got to be an ordeal. I can't imagine it be anything else but just an ordeal.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And as a result of that, they lost their home, and I mean, she wasn't able to keep up the payment on a single mom's income and stuff like that. So they moved in with us, where they've been now for 13 years, and it's just been wonderful. I mean, we all get along well, like you do with your kids, and we all get along well, and we enjoy being with each other. And Kitsy and I have been able to help raise our grandson, and yeah, a real blessing. And so he's a wonderful guy. He's on the autism spectrum, so he has some different needs than other people. Yeah. And so here's a single mom who works full time, our daughter in another town, but we're able to take him to school, be here, pick him up, bring him home, and if he's sick, we're able to stay home with him. He's rarely sick, but other single moms aren't. They don't all have that kind of support and that kind of help. Many of them, unfortunately, are just on their own,
right?
With no family support, with no support from their ex-spouse, or maybe he's dead, like my daughter. So, and so if their child is sick and home, they got to miss work.
Right.
Well, some employers are okay with that occasionally. Some, you miss too much and you don't have a job.
Right.
When you lose your job, you lose your insurance.
Right. Oh,
and then
one calamity after the next, right?
Yeah. So single moms are among some of the most vulnerable in society, at least in my opinion. And I think about the verse that James, Jesus' half brother, wrote in James 1, verse 21, somewhere around there. He says, this is pure religion, to take care of widows and orphans. Right. Now, I think he was, I don't know this for sure. I think he was kind of, that was a backwards compliment, or that's not the right word I want, but he was talking to people who were ensconced in a religious society who thought pure religion was keeping all the rules and doing all of this and that. Mint.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was saying, no, you got it wrong there. This is what pure religion is. And when you think about it, at least from what we know, his mom, Jesus' mom, was a single mom. Joseph died at some point in time, and Jesus, who was the firstborn, helped raise the rest of them. He had at least 2 brothers and at least 2 sisters, we know from scripture. So I think I'm reading between the lines here, but the Holy Spirit helps us do that. There very well could have been a special motive for James writing that. Well, there's a special motive for me to be involved in it because my daughter and our grandson are in that situation too. And my daughter's involved in a group called the Solo Parent Society, and they have Zoom meetings and retreats and different things like that. And so she's involved with a whole organization, of people around the country. And so she knows more, of course, of what the different trials can be. And so copying our friend who started this other one, his goal and our goal too is with our group, we call it the Grace Restoration Team, is to get 100 people who give $100 a month.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, our group, including the people that we've interviewed, we're putting together a group of people who will donate $100 a month. We'd like to have $10,000 a month so that we can just meet the needs of single parents. Wow. So we can do that financially. Then we give them, right now, I've been giving them some of my other books, but we'll give them a copy of this book, Grace to All, which will, in between each of the 2-page stories, I have a little sort of a devotional thing where I write a page all about our identity in Christ, not only who we are now, but who we have always been, and
Yes.
how Papa and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, who I call Grace, have always loved us, have always included us. I so love your emails that you put out, and you sign them, love Papa. But I that's what I call him too. But I have a little one-page thing that talks about who we've always been since before the beginning of time, what our real identity is. And I make a point of saying you may have been, you may have felt differently, because we all do. But I found that, and I'm not, I don't know what the right words here that I want, but I know that single moms can feel guilty, can feel shame, can blame themselves. Yeah, and many times, they've I'll use the phrase "kick the bum out" because of all sorts of different things. But then they're in this situation where they can't pay the bills and the kids are suffering, and they're beating themselves up and thinking, well, maybe I should have, what, all this kind of stuff.
Suck it out.
So what I want to do, Catherine, is to help them spiritually know that
beautiful.
No, you are beautiful. You are, and the same's true for single dads. But you've always been a child of God. God has never been disappointed with you. God's always loved you. He's always been there. He's always been in you. You're not getting punished for some rule that you broke or whatever. Life happens, and and so to help restore them spiritually to their original genesis of who they've already been. So financially, spiritually,
and putting money behind that. I mean, that's huge, because that's their felt need. And then also the sense of he's always been in you, but you're not alone in it. So whatever the circumstances that led to you being a single parent, single mom, single dad, you're trying to raise kids, you're trying to do everything, be mom and dad and whatever. That is, there's grace. We're just, sin does abound, grace does us more abound. And it's not necessarily your sin. Sin happened when, the Ewing sarcoma is a sin. It's a way of it's just an event that God never willed. We'll put it that way.
No, it's falling short of God's perfection.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes you're hit on whatever levels, but either way, we all need grace to raise our kids. We all need grace, and single parents need more grace. It's that much more hard in it. What a heart. That's gorgeous, Paul.
And then, well, thanks. And then if we can not only help them financially, but help them spiritually, and then through the book, Grace to All, maybe connect them with somebody. I mean, there may be a single mom who gets a copy of the book who lives in Pueblo, right? And they find out about Catherine Toon, who's in Colorado Springs, and that's somebody, I can't remember who it was. I interviewed somebody yesterday, somebody that you would know. I interviewed 2 or 3 people. I can't remember which one might have said this, but they said the biggest question. They travel and speak a lot around the world, really. But they said the biggest question they get asked on email or personal messages on Facebook or whatever is there anybody else within an hour's drive of where I live who's coming to understand God's unconditional love and grace and inclusion? Is there anybody else within an hour's drive that I could just have a cup of coffee with, maybe once every 2 or 3 months or something? Well, that's the biggest question asked. Well, I haven't had it stated exactly that way, but I hear that from lots of different people. And so if I can help connect people those 3 ways, then I think it's a good result has happened. So anytime, all the proceeds from this book, Catherine, go to go to single moms. Every book that we sell, all the money goes to single moms. Ideally, we'll take part of the sale and us be able to buy, as you know, we have to buy our own books, to give one free to single parents.
Right.
But then the rest of the money goes into the fund to help people financially.
Oh, that's so great. It's so practical. Now the book's called Grace to All, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's right out in the back. You can see it. So everybody, you need to get a copy of that book and share it with whoever. But I love the heart for the single parent, particularly the single mom. But of course, single dads are up a creek as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just need help.
Yeah.
But that's so beautiful that there's such a multi-purpose thing. And then for those of us, because a lot of times when you're deconstructing or whatever, you feel like you're the only one. It's like all the prophets, I'm the only prophet left. This is Elijah. The prophet, it's all over the place. It's just we're not connected. And it was amazing to realize, wow, there's this huge community that God is raising up that were resonating with the same message: grace to all, to everyone, inclusion, all of that, unconditional love, unlimited grace, all of that. And what does that look like? Where maybe religion has looked like tithing off of your mint, or you're going to eternal conscious torment, or whatever that is. But what real religion, what is that really? And that whole love relationship, but also love through service and love through, honestly, sharing of your substance can transform a life and make God palpable to a felt need, which is huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So well put. And it's just, there's nothing to me, Catherine, like seeing the lights go on in somebody's eyes when they start to grasp God's unconditional love and grace for them. And I would have to say, second to that for me is seeing a single mom who doesn't even know you and who has no idea how she's going to pay for getting her car out of the shop, and she has to have it to go to work, to just be given a check and for more than what she needs, and to with no strings attached, and just we've been able to do that, and I'll provide appliances for moms who've had to move out of their apartment into another place that didn't have any appliances, and to do several different things, and for people in different states too. The way we have it set it up, again, we copied it after somebody else, which is a good pattern. But anybody who is part of it, anybody who contributes, whether it's $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever, can nominate somebody to be helped. So they let me know, hey, we've got, somebody did that recently. Hey, we've got this shirt tail relative in Arizona, and she packed up her 3 little kids and left a very abusive relationship, and had to move to another town to stay with a family member on a very short-term basis. Of course, lost her job when she moved and everything, and she can't stay in this place for very long. She's got a line on another job, but she's got to have a place to live. Well, I got her phone number, and she knew I was going to call her. She didn't know me, but I wasn't some guy calling, just clear out of the blue. And I asked for her to tell me her story a little bit, and tell me what she needed. And so we were able to provide $500 a month for her to get a place to live while she could get back on her feet. And and this was in Arizona, who I'd never met or didn't even know about. And one of the things she says is, well, why would you do that for me? And I don't deserve it anyway. And I got to see that's what God does for us. You're his daughter. He loves you. He puts other people in our lives that help each other. And that's what we're doing. And it was just like, well, thank you.
Oh, she felt
It's so
seen.
cool.
It's
Yeah. Yes.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is so cool.
Wow. Well, Paul, you'll need to give me all the links of where people can donate. And of course, when you do get your the book up and running, because it's not quite out there yet, but it will be.
Yeah.
All the links to that. Do you have any other particular testimonies you want to share, or anything else you want to share about the kind of how grace is manifested for the single mom, but for everyone? I mean, this is grace to all. And
Yeah.
sometimes the ones that are particularly feeling unseen and vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's such a thing. And I think it's such a, we need to be seen. There's nothing like being known, knowing God, but also being known by God. And when we show up for other people and love other people,
Yeah.
it helps people feel seen, like God sees me.
Oh,
God
indeed.
sees me.
Indeed.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's an interesting phrase that you use, Catherine. We need to be seen. I'll relate to you another story. There's a single mom that we're helping who she has diabetes, and because of that, or vice versa, or however, she's gotten overweight, and she can't be on her feet for a long time. So she lost her job because of that. And then COVID hit.
Like bam, 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 right?
Yeah. And so, she's getting help through a free medical clinic, actually, that I'm not involved in anymore, but that we started 22 years ago. But she's getting help, and diabetes is expensive, man. The
Yes.
test strips and all of that kind of stuff. But she's getting some help from that, but she really can't work, and so it's hard for her to. She's having trouble walking now. She can't really. She lives in an apartment. She can't carry her laundry like the equivalent of a block away in the apartment complex to where the laundry facility is.
Wow.
And
All these things
so
you
she,
don't think about, these complications, one after the next, after the next,
yes,
after the next.
yes. And so she literally doesn't want to be seen
Mhm.
because she doesn't have clothes that are presentable. And, she's
So then
self-conscious
there's
about,
that level of shame. Oh my goodness. It's
yeah.
just insult
Oh,
to
yeah.
injury.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And the shame is the correct word.
Mhm.
So most of all, we're doing all that we can, and she's getting there to help her not be ashamed, and to know that there is no shame with Christ. There's
Mm-mm.
no
Not
shame,
allowed. Mhm.
not allowed. It's just not part of the equation.
Right.
There's no shame. There's no condemnation. There's only love and acceptance. You don't even need to be forgiven because he's already forgiven everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, just, and we have the opportunity, my wife and I and some others, to just continually remind her of that, and not occasionally in person, but primarily, on the phone and emails and different things. But people have been able to go and help her, not help her, actually take her trash to the dumpster and things like that, because she can't do that, with a walker. I
Right.
mean, you ever think about that? How do you take your trash out if you live in an apartment complex, and the dumpster for the trash and the recyclables is half a block away, and you use a walker?
Exactly.
Well,
Like
yeah,
all these
and
things that are so elemental that we take for granted when we don't have a
yeah,
walker, when we can
yeah,
walk and move and all of
yeah,
that. These are huge things
yeah,
to overcome, and they
yeah. And
compound.
you talk about people need to be seen. Well, she hadn't told me this, but she doesn't want to be seen
Right.
out in clothes that aren't clean, struggling to carry a bag of trash with a walker.
Sure.
And so, you know, people do that. Our network here, people help her with that and do those things and take her to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But she was very much, I mean, she was out of money and in behind in her rent. We were able to, we gave her $2,000 to get caught up on her rent and her utilities and stuff like that, and then pay her rent and utilities, all her living expenses, which are not huge. I mean, it's $1,200 a month, to pay them for another couple of months and help her in the process of getting disability and helping her get utility assistance and different things like that. So and she's extremely grateful, and she's very much understanding God's unconditional love for her, and certainly in part because she's seeing people demonstrate that to her.
Exactly.
And it's not just something you read in a book.
Right. She gets the book
yeah,
and you get both, because we
yeah,
need help with
yeah,
our mindsets. But what am I supposed to do about the garbage that's piling up? And then I feel like a piece of garbage because my clothes are stinky because I can't go and
yeah,
and then I've got the weight
yeah.
issue, and then I can't. It's just one thing after the other. But you're helping peel away those things,
Yes, yeah.
so that
And
she can
she
have
is,
a chance to get back up on her feet, so to speak.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she is a wonderful person. She's very sweet, and she's very gifted in technology type things. She's just been beaten down, and so I have a friend that I interviewed earlier today who's in Pittsburgh, and he's part of a group called Feed the Spirit. And they provide free meals and help keep people in their homes or places where they live, and help them transition and stuff like that. And it's a very rewarding thing to do, and it's I'm embarrassed about this, but just be straight up about it. 25, 30 years ago, I'd be downtown or I'd go to Walmart or something, and there'd be somebody from the Salvation Army, and I'd put a couple of dollars in the bucket, and then the next time I'd go there, I'd try to get around so they wouldn't see me and I wouldn't feel. But I sort of felt like, well, look at me, I've helped. I've done my deal, and yeah. Well, let me tell you, sitting across the table from somebody who's not sure where if they're gonna be living in their car 2 weeks from now, and what their kids are gonna be. My wife, Kitsy, she taught school for several years.
Yes.
In a sort of it's the grade school you went to. It's Pinckney Elementary School in Lawrence, Kansas. That's where you went, right? Or was it Hillcrest? You went to Hillcrest. Yeah, she taught at Hillcrest too.
Yeah,
But
she's
Pinckney, but Pinckney is a little more inner city, if you will.
Right.
And she had students every year who were homeless, and they either lived at the homeless shelter, sometimes with both parents, but usually with their mom, or some of them lived in a car or in a van.
So heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it's very real. It's very real. And so to have the opportunity to, give them real tangible help in the form of finances, but also spiritual help, and not, I don't want to, I'm going to be careful here. I don't want to lump everything into a general statement, but I found that unfortunately, many times when people are beaten down with shame, and you refer them to a church that then turns around and beats them down with shame.
Right.
Oh
Wow,
man.
insult to
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's
S-
wow, the
Yeah.
anti-Christ solution.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's
So
anti-love, it's
yeah.
shaming, it's
Yeah. So
minimizing. Mhm.
we get to help them know the truth about God
Yeah,
as well as help them financially
absolutely.
and then hopefully
They're
connect
all
them with
really
somebody else.
important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's nice with that too, Paul, is that you're doing very practical things and you're doing your part in just in felt needs and just kind of with their relationship with God with the book. And then you're saying, you know what, there's probably some other things that's not my wheelhouse. Let me refer you. And so you're not carrying the burden of it, but you're doing your part in the burden. And I think, we don't want to also guilt people into stuff. This is like being moved with compassion. And this is my role to play, and then as the body we can come together as the body. And that, so it's like you're not taking care of every single need this person has, but you're taking care of
Yeah.
some really significant bam bam needs, and then we can partner together. And then wow, you're really good at that, so you can do that, and we work together to really solve problems so people can get back up on their feet. They can start to believe in themselves. They can start to
Mm.
see themselves the way God sees them and be empowered to do what they can do. And a lot of times those people turn around saying, yeah, I remember when I was flat on my back, and now I can also help. And this is the way we manifest as the sons and daughters to release creation from its bondage, right? These are just natural bondages that are happening.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but it's also light. It's not a, well, if you were really like Jesus, you would do this. This is not a guilt thing. This is, you really are like Jesus. And out of that, there's something that he's stirring that he wants you to do. And we all do, there's so many different problems. Pick a problem, any problem, but we're called to speak into specific problems and then work together for the expansive of there. There's a lot of problems in humanity.
There are.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be burdened with it. You can just have the joy of being part of the solution in union with other people who are also God is using as part of the solution.
Yeah.
And something gorgeous happens,
Yeah, it does.
which is great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It really is. And I'm so excited to be a part of this. I had, I'll be 75 years old in the 16th of March. And so that's a couple of weeks from today. Yeah, that's coming up. I
Everybody
tell you
can
what.
donate to the ministry for Paul. Well, you can give him a present and donate to the ministry.
Well, yeah.
March 16th.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I had no idea. I left the music. I didn't leave it. I still play some music, but I left being a full-time musician in when I was 43 years old, I think. And I became a pastor, started a church, and it was great. We had nice people, good things happen. We, started the medical ministry, and along as years go by, you tend to think of, well, is this it? Am I? Will I, retire at 65 and go fishing or whatever, or what does God have planned for me? I'm more excited now than I've ever been.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Isn't that great? And you're making such an impact.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just, it's just gorgeous. This is being fruitful, in your latter years, as well as, in your younger years. And we get to do that. I love that. And so we're not disqualified because we're over 60 or, whatever, because we're all either there or getting there, and
yeah.
and so
there's
that's such a joy.
if we he qualified us.
Yay.
And oh man, it really is exciting. I mean, it's exciting enough to just tell people the truth about who God is and who they are and who everybody else.
Right.
It's also exciting to add a couple of more pieces to the puzzle and tangibly help people and then
Absolutely.
connect them with others. And I'm really grateful for internet and for social media. I mean, we have not only do we connect with like-minded people, but we get to make friends, and we get to tell our story, and we get to learn from each other, and then occasionally we get to go see each other and go out to dinner and at the Bonefish Grill or wherever. No, it's all good. It's a great time to be alive, and I'm just enjoying it, and you're part of that I get to enjoy seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, it is. It really is. And isn't that such a beautiful thing? Because man, if you start focusing on the wrong areas for too long, the news or whatever, you can really start to get like depressed and under these things. But oh my goodness, God is so active and working right where we live, and we get to be a part of it. And so, you know what, and the situations that have cropped up, there's situations, but then there's always a workaround. There's always something, we kind of turned into the so much more online now. And now it's like this huge blessing that we're grateful, even though we can do more travel and do all that kind of stuff. We have both. And that is such an upgrade. And you get to meet people you'd never meet otherwise.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's wonderful. It's a good time to be alive. And
It is.
I'm just grateful for it.
Wow, that is so awesome. Oh, Paul, this is so gorgeous. So how can people contact you? Where should they be looking for your book when it comes out? How can they, how can they give to the ministry? Hello, all those single moms out there. How can we do that?
Thank you so much for asking. The book will be available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and it's called Grace to All, the same as my podcast, the same as the picture behind me on the screen. I have a website called Grace with Paul Gray, and there's information on that. About the book and the ministry and things. And a very simple way to give is through PayPal. We call the Single Moms Ministry the Grace Restoration Team. And so you can just do PayPal and give to the Grace Restoration Team. And we're getting ready to put out a newsletter that hopefully will be every month, where we tell the stories about the different people that we've helped and that kind of stuff. So I'm in a process of, as you well know, because you've helped me with this, of finishing the book and getting it out and promote it in advance. And I'm a little bit behind on actually getting out nice looking things for people to see as to where they can go and donate. But
they can come find you. It's going to be on the website. And all of that. Yeah. So just give me whatever links you have, and
I will.
We'll make sure that they're in there, because I know people are going to be, oh yeah, that I can get behind. And I'm excited. There's some people that this will just be like, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's great that, if I can help connect in that way too, is even as you're connecting. That's always a joy. Oh, wow. Well, I love that. Well, I can't believe our time just whizzed by. I knew it would.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And of course, we'll keep in touch, and give my love to Kitsy. And
thank you. Same to Brian and your kids. And your daughter who flies, and your other kids who do wonderful things.
Yes, there's a lot happening on both ends. So
well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Well, love you, Paul. Enjoy the rest of your day. And everybody share this because there's someone who you can help connect to be a blessing for the single moms out there. Just need to hear these grace stories, all of that. That's just one way that you can just contribute to something so worthy and so life-giving. And and certainly connect with Paul and get his book when it comes out. So awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, love you, Paul. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks.